I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about recycling. So, by a show of hands, how many of you guys recycle daily? So, we got a few of you guys. And recycling is a simple yet very important thing you can do. And after researching many articles and studying a lot of stuff online and in books, I can assure you that I know a lot about recycling, that this information is valid. You should recycle because it can affect your life greatly, and it can have an impact on your health and the environment. You should recycle daily. So today I'm going to be telling you about why you should recycle and why you should be doing it more. So everyone has heard of climate change, right? Have you guys heard of that? Climate change, global warming? Oh, well, it's a large part of the issues that we have, and recycling could just help that a little bit. We could do our part in help stopping climate change. So greenhouse gases, if you guys haven't heard of them, are according to an article called The Overview of Greenhouse Gases written and published by the EPA in 2018. They are gases that trap heat in the atmosphere and are leading causes in climate change. So the sheets I handed you guys, if you don't understand it, that diagram kind of helps explain what greenhouse gases do and how the heat gets trapped into our atmosphere and affects our climate change. So with that, how many of you guys are involved in agriculture or have family members that are involved in agriculture on a farm? So clearly, there's a lot of you guys. So I think as a whole, this community kind of understands the value of agriculture, and you guys should know the effects that climate change has on it. So the agriculture industry is being affected greatly, and that's all around the world because of climate change. And I'll explain this to you. According to the newspaper article, climate change is making soils saltier, forcing many farmers to find new livelihoods, written by Joyce J. Chen on November 29th, 2018. Climate change is basically causing glaciers to melt, and the salty water of the ocean, the levels are rising, so that this floods land and goes on the farming land. And obviously in North Dakota, it doesn't affect us as much because we aren't a coastal state, but the heat still affects plant growth and can deplete our crops. But basically too much salinity in the soil can affect crops growth negatively. So in the midst of all this, people are trying to counteract the effects of heat waves with air conditioning. And you may not know that air conditioning can be doing more damage than helping you counteract it. So air conditioning, or AC, is often used to cool off buildings in places that are out of the sun, to keep us more cool when we come in from outdoor activities. So because of the climate change, the temperatures are going up. Air conditioning is becoming more and more common around the world. And in fact, according to the article, fast rising demand for air conditioning is worsening global warming. The numbers are striking by Phil McKenna, written on November 12, 2018, states that approximately 1.2 billion window-mounted air conditioning units and other small-scale room cooling devices are currently in use worldwide, and by 2050 the figure is expected to increase to 4.5 billion. So obviously that's a lot of air conditioning units around the world. And some of you may think, oh, well, what's wrong with that? Everybody's got air conditioning. But according to the previous cited source, the coolants used in air conditioning are approximately 1,000 to 3,000 times more potent than carbon dioxide, which is on our sheet as well, which is one of the most known greenhouse gases. So now that we know the issue and why we should be recycling, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what you can do to counteract this issue. So, a lot of us know that everyone can benefit from saving a few bucks here and there, whether it's deals, Black Friday shopping, or recycling. One key reason that many of you should be recycling is to save money. It's very simple, and if many people work to recycle, we can all save money. According to Rick LeBlanc in the article Plastic Recycling Facts and Figures published by Dotdash in 2018, recycling can help reduce the cost of solid waste for your household, and it can also increase the value of you and your neighbor's property as it reduces the need for landfills. So let's say you live next to a landfill, and the landfill is right next to your property. Nobody wants to live right next to a smelly, bad landfill. So the value of your property decreases because that's not ideal for anyone. So if we eliminate landfills by recycling more and doing things as that, the value of because there's no landfills, the value of your property is going to go up if you live next to it. So recycling has, in recent years, become more of a priority for Americans. It's more of a talked about issue. And this helps create energy jobs. So although there is jobs with landfills and the opposite of recycling, the number of jobs in the recycling industries are far outnumber the dirtier landfill jobs. Plastic is also a big part of U.S. exports, and that is also where a lot of money is. People we export a lot of plastic here in the U.S. According to the previous cited source, in 2015, U.S. exporters shipped more than 2 million tons of plastic scrap, which is valued at $810 million, which is a lot of money. Environmental health is also a very big issue for our planet. Recycling is just one easy way you can take the step you can take to be a positive effect on this. So we're only given one Earth, so why wouldn't we try to take care of it and do everything we can to benefit it for future generations? According to the previous cited source, it takes up to 500 years for plastic items to decompose in landfills. And although these landfills seem like they're harmless, it's actually for a lot of people it's an unpleasing sight and smell, and it does a lot of damage. So let's face it, our world is hungry. So many people go to bed on an empty stomach and not knowing where their next meal comes from. But oftentimes our leftover food and scraps go to landfills where it's wasted and not milked for what it's worth. So according to the article, food waste recycling machine market expected to deliver dynamic progressions until 2028 written on November 23rd, 2018, in the edition of the US PR Wire. Food waste recycling machines are more pragmatic solution over landfills, both economically and environmentally. So basically what's that saying is that they've invented machines that recycle our food, and those are much more logical and they are way better than just throwing it into landfills. So now that you've heard of how it helps us, let me tell you how I can make this a habit of yours. So many people in their neighborhoods, not necessarily in our community as I've known, as I've been around, but have recycling bins outside by their trash, which are a blue recycling bin that's separate from your trash, so you can throw your recycled goods in there. But around your cities or wherever you're from, there should be places where you can drop off your recycled goods each week, and you should make it an agenda to search out and look for these, and then just every week try to make that part of your habit. But one issue that our world is facing with this is that people are not knowing the difference between what is recyclable and what isn't. So a lot of people are throwing non-recyclable goods into recycling, and this is actually causing more issues than it should be, because when you throw something that shouldn't be in there, it can take up to twice as long to be like, it could go to a landfill, and it's just basically a step in the way, so it's just kind of a waste there of time and money. So you can seek out your recycling places in your community and make it a habit of yours to go there and recycle your goods. So now let's put all this information together. Simply making recycling a part of your daily habit or weekly habit can change aspects in your life, such as environmental health and your overall well-being. So I have told you about how it can affect the economy and the environment and why it should become part of your daily habit. So next time you go to throw away an item that could possibly be recyclable, make sure that you double check and you do the right thing for the economy and yourself and put it into the recycling.